Hey crafters, welcome to another summer sewing video. I am really excited about what we're making today because I love wearing them. Caftans. Hashtag Caftancore. I mean, you can't really beat them, right? If you make them out of, drapey, breathable fabric, it's basically just wearing your own air conditioning unit, and you don't need me to tell you that it's getting hot out there. Am I sweaty? I feel sweaty. So, let's make more caftans. I've been loving this one. I love this style. This was a fun DIY project, which I will link to so you can check it out. But it turns out there are a lot of different styles of caftan dress. And I've even made a vintage pattern for one of these. I'll link to that project too because flappers love their caftans. Fun project. I'm going on a trip. I need some just throw over whatever you're wearing, like put it on over your swimsuit, or wear it out to dinner, or wear it to the grocery store, or wear it around the house kind of fashions. And I even have an artistic challenge. You know how I'm loving the whole Caftancore lifestyle? I want to try to convert my little sister to caftans. Okay, now my little sister is quite a bit younger than I am, and she is like really tall and just like fabulous, super artsy. I mean, she is a groovy chica. I don't know though if she has fully embraced her inner caftan core though. I want to make some caftans and see if I can convince her to wear one, at least once. We'll see. Now, her style is a little different than mine. I mean, she's pretty groovy, and she doesn't quite do the like craziest, brightest stuff on the regular quite as often as I do. So I'm gonna need to do some fabric that is, well, so comfy to wear that she won't be able to resist. And then I also wanna pick some fabric that's, maybe like a little bit less bright, a little less attention grabbing, so that, you don't, even though you're wearing like a lot of drapey fabric, it won't feel quite so like attention grabbing. That's my strategy. I'm collecting fabric. I'm working with a super beyond basic caftan design. I love this one, but I'm gonna go for something even simpler, the most basic caftan you can make. So easy DIY. I want to make at least a couple, although I'll bring this one too, see if she likes this one. So selfishly, I want these caftans for my trip and for the rest of summer and life in general. And then we have the added bonus of an artistic challenge to see if we can't create another Caftancore convert. My trip is next week. We better get sewing. Let me show you the pattern. Okay, here's the sketchy sketch of what we're looking at for these super basic caftans. So as you can tell, it's basically a long rectangle of fabric that is folded in half. That fold actually becomes the shoulders of the dress, and then you cut a hole for your head, and then you add some little side seams. You want to leave a little gap, so your arms can come out. Gotta have armholes. And then I usually like to leave a gap between the bottom of the dress and the stitching, just to leave little side slits for extra breeziness. If your fabric has nice enough selvages, you can just leave these edges as the selvages of the fabric. Don't even have to hem those edges if the selvages look nice. Now, if they're, they're writing on them, or you just don't like the look, you can also just roll a little hem for those sides. Of course, you got to do a little hem across the bottoms as well. I usually finish the neck with single fold bias tape, as per my usual. And then you might notice here we have two little buttonholes. I usually use the biggest buttonhole foot setting that I have on my machine and make two little holes on the outside of the stitching, but going through both layers of this fluttery side fabric. And then those two holes can be used to thread like a ribbon or a sash through to just kind of cinch the waist a little bit, depending on your preference. Now, you could of course skip that if you want, but I like to add a little bit of shape that way for, if I'm dressing it up a little bit. But But you guys, I mean, that's basically it. I gotta iron my fabric, and then I'll show you what that looks like. I think my first step will be just laying out the fabric folded like this. I want to get that neck hole in there pretty quickly so that then I can try the fabric on and see where I want these side seams. Once I sew those up, assuming that my selvages are nice looking and all those good things, once I sew those up, it kind of just goes into finish work, honestly, because at that point you have a dress. You know, I want to add the buttonholes, I want to hem the skirt, I want to finish the neckline, and it will take a little time because we're dealing with a lot of fabric, but hey, at least the design is simple, right? Time to iron that fabric and get started. Okay, here's my fabric. Well, I'm working with a remnant of this lovely navy and white dot, and after trimming off the bottom a little bit, my fabric is about, let's see, it's about 44 inches wide across the top. Of course, that's where my fold is. That's going to be my shoulder seam. And then we're only about 41 inches long or so. So this is definitely going to be more like a knee-length caftan. I did leave a little bit of extra fabric from the cut-off material to see if I want to make a belt. But I think our next step is to trim the hole for my neck, and then we can keep going on all the next steps after that. Well, I folded my fabric now in quarters. It was just folded in half, but you can tell now it's been folded in half again because I want to cut out a hole for the neckline, and I want to make sure it's roughly centered and roughly even. Hey, well, I've just been kind of using my chalk to sketch kind of a neckline. I used a t-shirt, or, well, another shirt, to give me just a basic outline for the neck. I don't want to cut this too big because this is going to cut both the front and the back neckline. I want to cut it small, maybe just big enough to get my head through, and then I can enlarge it more later. So let's trim that and then see what our next step is. Okay, well, got that neck hole cut out, and then that means we can figure out the placement for those side seams that will go around on each side of your body. Well, let's turn around a little bit here. I don't like to make those side seams very close to my body because I want this to be a pretty loose, drapey garment, and I can always cinch it in a little bit with that belt I'm going to add later. So I don't want this clinging, and of course, it's got to fit over all my curves, so it's got to be wide enough to fit over my hips and everything else in between. Hey, to figure out where to put these lines, one way you can do it is to just put this on over your head. Pinch the fabric a little bit, look in the mirror, see where you think you might want those side seams to be. Another good step after that is to actually just pin a little line of pins. You know, just where I have those chalk marks, you could put a little line of pins going down each side and then slip the garment on. How does it look? Does it need to be a little bigger? Does it need to be a little bit smaller? Just experiment a little bit before you sew it. I've made a few caftans, so I was able to actually trace the measurements I used for my previous project to help me know like how big I want the armholes to be. I think I made those about 9 inches. And then for me, I made the sewing marks about 26 inches apart. I think I did it about 13 inches from the center point for each of those. So that's what I did for me, and I then left a little slit at the bottom. If I was making this a maxi length, I would definitely leave more of a slit at the bottom to add some breathability. Let me show you the tools that I use to mark these side seams really quick. Here's how I figured out the placement for those side seams. I folded the garment back in half again, and then using one of my existing garments, I knew about how far I wanted the side seams from the center front. So then I just used my ruler and measured that line. I also tried to make sure that both lines were equal distance from the top there, leaving equal armholes. And then I did, of course, leave, I think I left about 5 or 6 inches at the bottom there just for that little slit as well. But folding this in half and using the grid ruler made this pretty fast. Okay, let's turn this thing into a dress. Now that we know where we want those side seams, I'm gonna sew those up, and then it's a dress. yeah, you can put it on and walk out the door. We do have a few more steps to do, though. We'll want to hem the bottom, of course. We'll want to probably trim that neckline a little bit. Want to try it on and experiment with that. I will probably finish that with some single fold bias tape, as I usually do. And then we'll want to figure out placement for the buttonholes for the belt. Okay, let's start with those side seams. Okay, well, I got those side seams sewn. I also made the neckline a little bigger after trying it on, of course. I think I'm going to finish that with, well, my favorite, good old single fold bias tape. I do that in most of my dress tutorials, so I'm not going to film that whole process, but if you're, hey, interested in single fold bias tape for the first time, look up a video on how to put that on. It's a pretty straightforward process. I need to do that. I'll need to hem the skirt. Got my pins all ready. And then after that, I mean, it's basically wearable. I will need to try it on and decide where I want those two buttonholes on the sides for my belts. I don't know. I'm guessing probably right about here. And I'll put them off to the side of my side seam, maybe about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so. I don't want to mess with that side seam, but I'll do those on my machine and then I can make a belt and be good to go. Hey, well, you guys, the caftan is almost done. We've got the neckline finished. We got 2 buttonholes sewn near the side seams for the belt. The garment is hemmed. Hey, we're pretty close. Now, remember I saved a little bit of extra fabric for my belt, and yeah, I sewed 2 of those pieces together. I didn't have a lot of extra, but got 2 of those pieces sewn together. And then I rolled it into a tube. Just going to stitch that tube up, turn it right side out, fold under the edges on the sides, stitch those down, and I will have a longish belt to go through those buttonholes that we put on. Yeah, I couldn't make my belt too wide because my buttonhole foot could only make about a 2-inch buttonhole. So that's what I'm working with, but I'm going to get sewing on that, and then, of course, yeah, I'm going to make more of these. Didn't I say that? Yeah. Alright, gotta go through the fabric stash. But you know what? Now that I've made one, it's going to be a lot easier to make the next ones because I will just follow the same steps. I will use the same dimensions. I've already measured this. I like how it fits my body, so a lot of the guesswork's done. More sewing. Hey, but guys, as I get started on that, it's a great time for you to hit that like button to let me know if you found this video amusing, and consider subscribing for more videos from Partners in Craft. Thank you guys, as always, for sharing the love. All right, time to get sewing, people. More caftans. Here we go. Okay, guys, moment of truth. I brought 3 caftans,
hanging out with my family. My little sister's gonna check them out, and we'll see which one, if any, she will wear. Let's find out. Hi, sister oh mine. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for being a willing model. Have you ever worn a caftan?
No.
Do you know what a caftan is? Oh. Okay, this is going to be an awesome learning experience. Oh, have you ever heard of the hashtag Caftancore?
No.
Great! Because I think we just invented it. Okay, so we're going to dive into Caftancore. Let's show you your options. Here you go. Okay, so you're going to be given 3 caftan choices. Here are your choices. Whoa, sorry. They're 3. Technically, they're 3. Okay, let's see which one you, if any, you can handle wearing. Here we go. Okay, caftan number 1. Full length, cotton, rayon blend, polka dots. She looks thrilled. Okay, let's check out the next one.
Should definitely add cuts.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this one is similar style but short. It's also wider because we used the full piece of fabric there. So yeah, a little more beach cover-up style on that guy. Of course, the belt on both of those cinches at the waist. Okay, cool. Yeah, see, that's the mojo. That's the caftan mojo. Okay, so this one's totally different style. It looks really wide because it is a big piece of fabric. Oh, hang on. The neckline is, yeah, there it is. Okay, so there should be like a panel in the front, and then on the inside, there's actually a belt that ties around your body. So it has a lot more shape once you put it on than when you hold it up. Because yes, as most caftans are, it is a giant piece of fabric. Nice, cool fabric though on that one. Yeah, you got it. Exactly. This is the Hollywood pool vibe we're going for on that one. Yeah, exactly. Do you have any thoughts on which one you might try? Or do you want to try them on and pick? I think you got to try them on. I agree. Okay, let's let you do that.
I picked this caftan.
Why did you pick this caftan?
A, the color. When wearing a boxy, large piece of fabric in this coolness, the more color, the better, because it actually helps with the vibe.
Oh my gosh.
Too cool for summer school.
Right. Oh, see, that's the opposite.
Yeah.
I thought you'd go for the black one.
I tend to go for more neutrals, but when caftanning
Ah.
and participating in the caftan-core, one must embrace the rainbow.
Ah, you have to embrace it.
I also really like the design of this one. With the
Mm.
panel right here and the fact that it ties actually under the dress. You get the nice fitted waist here, but nice swoopy back part. So I really enjoyed that. I think it's the most comfortable out of the 3. So,
That's pretty great, and that was a cool design we just tried out, so
yes. Endless possibilities design-wise.
endless possibilities. I love it. Good call. Good call. Oh wait. This is gonna be really dorky, but I'm doing it. Okay. I'm excited. Just the fact that we're both wearing caftans right now, which is kind of a huge accomplishment. I love caftans because I feel comfy.
and beachy right now. I think we decided on me, the shorter length is a little more balanced, which is nice because I'm short, you're tall. So that was an awesome comparison. It's just a lot of fabric on me, so I think the black one, maybe I'll shorten it a little bit just to like make it a little less on me. I'm really loving this blue one though, because it is a little shorter. So it's got a nice beachy vibe, and I agree with you on that style actually. Having the little like waist piece and the belt inside adds a little shape, but it's still breezy. So win-win, I think. I don't know if you're ever gonna wear this again. Totally up to you, but if you ever do, you know who to talk to. Ask for some caftans. I kind of want to go back to the fabric store, find more caftan fabric. A lot of potential out there. All right, well, you guys, hope you enjoyed embracing your inner caftan core with us. Hope this inspired you to maybe try out some caftan jam of your own. And a big thanks to my sister for going caftan core.
And remember, caftan equals caft-can. You're welcome.
Stay crafty, everybody. Bye.
Oh yeah, you're working the caftan core. See, you've got this inside you. Oh yeah. And that's a wrap.